So 5 men went to jail so I can camp here. Well, I can't really camp here. It's crazy. Whatever the Supreme Court say is final. So if they say that wild camping is banned, then that is it. So it's looking like the worst weather's going to hit in about an hour. This is why camping is not allowed in places like this. Makes my piss boil. They're not wild campers. I don't know what they are. Welcome to another little camping adventure. And this place has got quite a significance. So it is the location of the start of the mass trespass, which was the catalyst to allowing those common people the right to explore and roam, with restrictions of course. But it's also the place where I set off on my first wild camping trip in the Peak District anyway. This is Bowden Bridge Car Park. So way back in April 1932, hundreds of people gathered here in protest to be allowed the freedom to roam the land. So way back then, and pretty much the same now, all of this land was private and owned by a few rich and wealthy people. I'm not going to go into all of the details of the mass trespass. There are loads of really good videos explaining that, and I will link a few of them in the description below. But I will share some of the important facts and locations, as well as how what happened over 90 years ago is sort of affecting us now. Right now there's a case being heard in the Supreme Court where one of these rich landowners wants to put a stop to wild camping here in England and Wales. And depending on how that case goes, it could have huge repercussions on how we have access as the common man to our countryside. Fancy a dip? Autumn's definitely got its feet under the table, hasn't it? It's my favourite time of year. I love all those browns, golds and oranges. So my first wild camp in the Peak District was in a woodland up here. I brought with me 100 litre plus Bergen. I had everything in it, even the kitchen sink. And this hill almost killed me. The setup that I use nowadays is far easier to carry, but I'm 10 years older. There's extra weight in my midsection, so these hills never get any easier. The slog up though is usually worth it. When you get to the top, you get the best seat in the house. I'm nowhere near the top yet, but this is a decent stop off. Coming over Castleton to get here was really foggy, so I'm expecting it to be quite foggy when we get up on the tops. We're also due a fair bit of wind and rain, so it should be quite entertaining. Views are starting to open up. Although you can't see much of the tops, I'm not convinced we'll get a view from tonight's pitch. So my first ever Peak District wild camp was in a woodland up alongside the Kinder River. Along that valley there. Today we're heading up onto the tops and we're just getting a few little glimpses, so hopefully the fog clears. So going back to 1932 and the mass trespass, some of the protesters, led by a chap called Benny Rothman, had decided to march up to Kinder Scout. And at the time, all of this land was off limits to the public. A group of protesters led by Benny were to head up from the Manchester side of Kinder Scout via Hayfield, and we're going to meet up at the top of Kinder Scout with another group from Sheffield. But when they got here, William Clough, they were met by a group of gamekeepers and groundsmen from the landowner, which I think was the Duke of Devonshire. I will put it on the screen. Tensions were high and scuffles and fighting broke out, and a few people got injured, but Benny and a few others managed to get up and head up onto Kinder Scout, which is hopefully where I'm going to pitch my tent tonight. Hello. This looks really pretty. One small step for man. One giant leap for these little legs. So before I get to the top and pitch my tent, I'm going to have a little breather and tell you about Squarespace, who sponsored today's video. So Squarespace is the #1 place to go if you want to have a go at building a website all by yourself. So we've been using Squarespace now for 3 or 4 years. So I mainly use my website for promoting the YouTube channel, selling off surplus camping gear, and for sending out my email newsletter. Whereas Joe set up a little shop to sell her artwork and paintings. So Squarespace has got loads of features, but they've just had quite a big refresh. It's introduced a new era for entrepreneurs. They've got some of the latest AI technology to help you create that perfect, unique website. And the great thing is they make it really easy that anybody can do it. Either use one of their ready-made templates or start off with prompts explaining what your business is about. And all you have to do is add your own photos and text and then move the odd thing around and you've got your website just as you want it. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a YouTuber, an artist or a photographer. If you've got something that you want to sell or show to the world, Squarespace has got something for you. So you've really got nothing to lose. Just click the link in the description or head over to squarespace.com/Paul Messner. You get a totally free trial where you can set things up and have a play with it. And then when you're ready to go live, use the code Paul Messner. You'll get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring the video today. Back to the climb. If you're a little bit squeamish, look away now. But that is why you must filter your water. These streams look crystal clear, but you never know what lies upstream. I'm sure there's loads of people out there that say you don't need to bother, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So as you can see, visibility is pretty poor. We've only got around half an hour of daylight left. The general direction I need is southeast, which is over there somewhere. So there should be a path veering off to the right in a minute. I can see why the gamekeepers didn't chase Benny and his mates up here. Whew. But what goes up must come down. That wakes you up a bit. So the view down there should be spectacular, but that just looks like a bottomless pit. That's close enough, thank you. Because we were finding somewhere to pitch up pretty quickly. At least it's got me out of the wind a minute. I'm hoping I can find a rock to hide behind. This is far from perfect. I need to get pitched up. I've got no idea whereabouts on Kinder that Benny and his mates met up, but this would have been a good spot. Couple of little chairs for them. Somewhere to fire up their 1930s jet boil. When you're cold and tired, pitching can be quite hard work. Right, let's get out of this weather. Oh. That's a relief. Inner could do a tightening, but it can wait. It's rotten out there. I am glad to be in the tent. Put me washing up. A little makeshift washing line with me trekking pole. Not took my trousers off yet. That wind's picking up quite a bit. Right, let's get some of the kit out. Carbonara for tea. I have gone for comfort today. This is my most comfortable pad. It's a bit thick though. I wish it was a little bit thinner and a bit less bulky, but I need a good night's kip. I'll be needing that. I brought a comfier pillow as well. It's a Thermarest pillow sack, nice and soft. Got my insulated trousers in there, so doubles up in case I need those later, although I'm not expecting to. I'm going to need this on now though. Getting quite cold. quilt out. I think that's all I'm going to need. That's all I've got. Oh, hang on. Got another lantern. How many does a man need? I'm going to be well illuminated anyway today. Glad I bought two now. This is going to be pumping my sleeping pad up as well. Oh, off. Oh. Oh, gonna need a bigger tent. That is quick. Impressive. Comfort is king. Just popping outside. The wind's picking up and this side here is not guyed out really well. Because it's a big rock, I had to put it at a bit of a weird angle, so I'm just going to back it up with an extra guy line. Wish me luck. Whoa. Visibility, nout. Looks to be holding pretty firm, to be fair. Ooh, horrible. Wouldn't have it any other way though. I think it's going to be one of them nights. This is why I really like this tent. Easy to pitch in rubbish weather and it just does the job. Joe's just sent me a picture of her homemade burger. It looks really tasty. Yeah, enough said. Bought me Trail Design stove. That should please you, Tony, if you're watching. Everything's going to blow away though. Yeah, this is a little bit like my Storming Norman cone. Except it just fits together really easily like that. Heat-proof mat, so hopefully it shouldn't burn my sit pad. So, when... Oh, we've got a leak there. We've got a leak there. Nice. Don't want to light my lighter now because I've got alcohol on my hands. So first I need to dry things off. Do not want to be setting fire to myself. 350 millilitres. It's about there. So when the wind died down and Benny and his mates went back down to Hayfield, the police were waiting for him and 6 of them were arrested. And when they went before the judge, 5 of them were sent to prison. Between them, they went to jail for 2 to 6 months. But the fallout from this was a huge outcry, and it was the catalyst for change when it comes to giving the everyday person, like you and I, access to lands like this. What used to be reserved for just the rich and elite would become, you know, the freedom to roam for everyone. Just the right amount of fuel as well. It's a bit of luck, isn't it? I don't know what the audio is going to be like because that wind is rotten. Although things have changed a bit, they've not changed a lot, to be honest with you. In England and Wales, there's still only 8% of all the land that you've actually got the right to roam. And although I'm camping here in the Peak District, camping is not actually allowed here. So I'm basically doing the same sort of thing as these guys did back in 1932. Yeah, they were the original kinder convicts. But am I really doing anything wrong? Or am I just exercising my right as a human being to enjoy the great outdoors? So similar things are going off at the moment. There is a case being heard for the final time. A rich landowner down in Dartmoor. So Dartmoor is the only place where there's areas that you can legally wild camp in England and Wales. And he originally won the case to ban wild camping on Dartmoor, and then it was overturned in the Court of Appeal. So wild camping is back on the agenda again. But now he's taking it to the Supreme Court. Bloody hell. It's a bit windy. Yeah, he's taking it to the Supreme Court. And whatever the Supreme Court say is final. So if they say that wild camping is banned, then that is it. But what next? Will he take away our right to have a picnic, or to, you know, will they close the footpaths? There's lots of people been doing similar sort of demonstrations, you know, outside the Supreme Court, marching across Dartmoor. You know, people are not having it. So 5 men went to jail so I can camp here. Well, I can't really camp here. It's crazy. It's got to be ready now. You have your homemade burger, Joe. I'll have a bag of slop. I've had worse, actually. So although I'll probably be using the stove in the morning, I'm going to pack it away. That is just because you've seen the weather. There's always the chance when it's like this that you've got to pack up in a hurry and bail. I'm hoping I don't, and it's not very often I ever have to do that. But it's handy to have gear ready to go. And I have had one occasion when the tent door's blown open in the night, and then next morning you're searching down the hill looking for your pots and pans. I'm not going to put this back in though. Disappointed with that. That's the one that came with it. It's got like a little squirty bit in it. I did have it in a little plastic bag, so it was safe just in case, but it has leaked. Where were they? My little Nalgene bottles, they never leak. So this is my first time out camping since the Lake District video in the Vango Banshee. Big thank you to everybody that watched that video. It's gone down really well. I got home the following day and the day after, I could barely walk. I was aching from head to toe. Every muscles that I didn't even know that I had. Definitely out of practice when it comes to mountain climbing anyway. But today I found it much easier. So, you know, it's true what they say. Use it or lose it. I wonder what the Vango would have been like in this kind of wind though. I'm appreciating the extra headroom and vestibule space in here though today. And I'm pretty confident that this tent, fingers crossed, will do a job. Speaking of tents, I have got a raffle running for, it's a charity raffle, raising money for my niece's school. They're building an outdoor resource hub, and the school don't pay for it, so the PTA and all the kids, they've all got to raise the money themselves. So I did say I'd help out, and I'm raffling off a tent. So if anybody wants to, it's not a Vango, it is an OEX Bobcat 1. Now they're also very good in the wind. So if anybody is interested, I will put a link in the pinned comment. £1.50 a ticket, but all of the proceeds are going towards the school's new outdoor resource hub. The tent is doing some dancing. Ooh. The light's gone out. Back up. Should have charged it before I come out. So it's looking like the worst weather's going to hit in about an hour. Although thankfully it's not due to get any windier. The wind's pushing this side in quite a bit. I think we'll be alright. I'm going to get my head down and try and get some sleep. Although there's plenty of flapping going off. Put all the things that I might need in a hurry close to hand. Head torch in there. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. This is that weather front I was telling you about. It's only light rain. The wind isn't as bad now as it was before.
slept. Not great, but I slept in this. So I can't complain. Sunrise isn't due for another 20 minutes, but I don't think we'll get one. But if I had to choose, I think I'd take a coffee. Next best thing, innit? The mattress, the pillow, made a massive difference last night. These are good, these inflatable ones, but they're not good for sleeping on, really. Not for me, anyway. This is probably the best I've got. That one's for in between my legs. That's just give me somewhere to stick my arm. One that feels like a real pillow instead of an airbag definitely wins. There is nothing to see out there. It's really noisy. Daylight and I still need that on. Might be able to function a bit now. It's a bit messy in here, isn't it? Let's go and have a look outside. Hold on to your hat, Paul. You're not going to get any views. Forgot to peg these ones out. Would have made a bit of a difference actually last night, but I was rushing around in the dark. Done a grand job though again. Really like this tent. Can't remember exactly, I think it came second in my all-time top 10 of tents. Suppose I better think about packing some of this lot away. Although I'd rather be doing that in here than out there. It's still pretty grim. Everything always goes inside this big dry sack. I don't know if the pack's waterproof or not. I have got a pack cover, but I don't like using them.
Clearing up a little bit. Somebody else out in this. Not just me that's a bit bonkers then. It's not that cold. Don't need my gloves yet. So my sit pad, I've just got it held in with a peg. Stops it blowing away. Make sure to pick all your pegs up. It's a good angle, isn't it? Take all your crap home with you. Let's get out of here. Might just float down. Nothing left behind. So I'm heading back down a slightly different route. It will still take me to the bottom of William Clough. A bit steeper, but not as far. This is really atmospheric. It's like magic, isn't it? And then it'll all just disappear again. I can see a tent down there. Straps are stinging my face. That wind is brutal. Fantastic views though, if you can hear that. Need to get a bit lower, methinks. Wow. Literally, I've dropped that. What's that? 4 or 5 yards of descent. Complete shelter. I should have pitched here. Look at it there. It's just this little area that seems protected. Crazy. So while I can hear myself speak, I'll just close off the loop with regards to the right to roam here in England and Wales anyway. So many years after the mass trespass, vast areas of land like this were open to the public to use as long as they stuck to the footpath, like I'm doing now. And in 1951, which was 19 years later, the Peak District was designated the first of all the national parks. But it wasn't until the year 2000, which is nearly 70 years later, that the Countryside Rights and Way Act was written, and that gave people like you and me the right to roam in certain areas. Open access areas like this were created, where you didn't have to stick to the footpath. You could just wander off and explore. Head straight over there if I wanted, go and see what that edge is. But as things stand, you're not allowed to go camping here unless you've got the landowner's permission, apart from certain areas of Dartmoor, which I've already said is currently under review in the Supreme Court. Gotta have your wits about you. Told you I'd seen a tent. I wasn't expecting one like that though. I'm wondering if that's been abandoned. It doesn't look like your typical wild camper's tent. And they haven't bothered to climb a hill to find a pitch. We'll have a little look. This is why camping is not allowed in places like this. Can't even carry it to take it off. It's a family tent. There's more crap down there. Sleeping bags, chairs, food, pads. Unless they had to bail last night and maybe they're coming back to collect it. I don't know. You can sympathise with the landowners. If you want to come camping, you pitch up pretty late, you leave pretty early, and you leave no trace that you've been there. You don't leave all that. If it was just a tent, I'd take it down. But there's that as well down there. 2 chairs, them big, massive campsite kind of airbeds. Makes my piss boil. They're not wild campers. I don't know what they are. Let me know what you'd call them in the comments. So I'm not saying that I do everything right. I make mistakes like everybody. But I do try and encourage people to get out and enjoy the outdoors in what I think is the right way. What we've just seen there is countryside thuggery. And unfortunately, everyone gets tarnished with the same brush. Anyway, so next time you lace your boots up and head out into the beautiful countryside, spare a thought for Benny Rothman and the spirit of the mass trespassers. Although many of these places are really beautiful, it's still only 8% of all the land in England and Wales that we're able to roam, which is pretty pitiful compared to the access laws up in Scotland. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.